Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Mark Molina with Real Sports Live, and here we are for another edition of the Sideline Sit Down. First up today for our early 1 p.m. show is Brownsville Veterans Memorial head basketball coach, a legend in his own right, Larry Gibson. Coach, how's it going? Thank you for joining us.
Going all right, man. Just trying to stay along with everything that's going. Thank you for having me. Just trying to keep my family safe and hope everything works out.
For sure, Coach, for sure. And how have you been the last couple of months? I know, fortunately, you're one of the sports that got to complete their season. You know, everything got done for you guys. Your seniors had a full season. Just what was that like? I know everything went to lockdown. You know, just how did you guys adjust? How did you how have you personally been the last couple of months?
You know, I've been doing this for over 40 years, and this is something that's never happened to me. I was sitting at the state tournament with my grandson and my wife. Then all of a sudden, we look up and it goes, this state tournament has been canceled. And I'm sitting there at the state tournament, and all of a sudden you can hear a pin drop. Like, what has happened? What just happened? This is never. I've been to the last 40 state tournaments. I've only missed one. That's when I was sick that year. And all of a sudden it says that's it. And so, man, I've been in shock ever since.
Yeah, for sure. And basketball is one of those sports that was, really hit. I know most schools got to complete it, but the state tournament, you get up to there and you're right in the midst of it, and then it gets shut down. The NBA as well. It seems like the game of basketball got hit really, really hard and really fast there at the end. Just how have you kept in touch with students? How have you kind of worked through some of this here on the local front?
And see, that's another bad part about it. We never got the chance to go back to school to see our students. See, I haven't seen my students since then. I didn't get a chance to go back and say, I want you to do this, want you to do this. All we've tried to do basically is just send out information through my assistant coaches and I tried to run everything through Matt Maddox. He's my returning, he'll be my captain, he'll be my leader. So just try to let him know everything that's going on, giving him a copy of the schedule, telling him to make sure everybody keep working out hard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that's definitely such a help, to go through one of your returning kids, stepping into a leadership role there. So, that's pretty good to hear, Coach. But let's move on. Let's talk a little bit more, on brighter views. This year, you talk about Matt and the rest of that team had a good, solid season, as you really on par with what you guys have done recently in the last 5 years or so. Just kind of talking about the season. I know you talked about how special this team was. You had guys like Matt, Damian, Kelly Davis. The way they all just kind of put it together and had a really nice run there. Talk to me about the year.
Man, the last 6 years have been spectacular. We got 4 out of 6 championships, and very few teams, other than maybe Los Fresnos, can say something like that. This has been a great, special group of kids. Damien Maldonado's been with us for 4 years, and he got 3 out of 4 district championships. That is something real special, and that has a lot to do with his leadership ability. And then Kelly Davis been with us the last 3 years. That has something to do with his leadership ability. Then you got Matt Maddox, who has just been my quarterback for the last 3 years and has done a hell of a job. So I'm just real proud of this group of kids. It's just sad that we didn't get to say goodbye the way we would like to say goodbye, but they still came away with a district championship this year, 3 out of the last 4. So you can't be too sad because you did something a lot of other teams haven't done. So I'm really, really in a good mood about what happened this year.
Yeah, the thing I look about the makeup of your team, you have a lot of, there's a lot of discipline in that locker room and on that bench. And then there's a lot of team guys there. You have a lot of reserve guys. You look at the guys like Matt Maddox and Damien Maldonado. You look at them, the reserve usually kind of quiet guys. When they get on the court and, they get sparked, it's time to go. Having guys like that, that are level-headed, but yet can get intense when it's time. What is that meant for your program?
It's meant that your kids should know a pecking order. There's a pecking order. It's basically, what have you done for me lately? I got kids like Damien Maldonado's been a 4-year starter. We run things through him. Then you run things through Kelly. You run things through Matt. It's just You got to have that transition. If you don't have any type of transition, any type of discipline, you're going to end up with chaos. And we try not to have that. And that probably causes a lot of problems with parents and people like that. But I try to run, the Janet Jackson system. What have you done for me lately? And I believe in those kids who've given me something for 4 years. I believe in that. I mean, I can go back and say, have you been out district? Have you been this? Have you been that? And I think those kids who have proven themselves, that's where I lean the majority of my trust on.
Yeah, and I think the kids have trusted you very well, because there have been times where you've been at games and you talk about what have you done for me lately. That can go right up into during the game. I've seen you pull full starters off the court, and nobody hangs their heads, and they just kind of go, they regroup, and they come back. To get that kind of trust back and forth, I mean, that dynamic has to take some work. How have you done? How have you been able to build that with your team?
And that's the hardest thing in the world to do, because when you do things like that, you get other people involved. You get parents involved. Why is he doing this? Why is he doing that? But you got to believe in your philosophy that you're doing what's best for your team. And that has gotten me into a lot of situations I would like to be in, but I always try to do what's best for my team. I'm not going to say it always works. My number one goal is to always try to do what's best for my team.
Yeah. And like I said, it's paid off. It's paid dividends. But let's go back. I mean, this was a really special team. You had some other special teams. Last year was a really great team. You go back to 2017. You had a team led by Aaron Villarreal. That was a team with a great run. A couple of teams that went 3 deep into the playoffs. I mean, having these teams, how do they kind of? I know it's hard to compare, but you've been a part of the Brownsville basketball scene, the Valley basketball scene for a good while. How are these recent teams? How are they stacked up and compared with other teams you've had in the past?
And you won't remember this because you weren't here, but I had a team back at Pace that was an awesome team. I mean, Frank Garcia, Paco Lozano, all those kids who are still around here. Juan Tristan, Hector Resendez, Rigo Morales. And that was a type of team that when I let them out of practice, they would walk over to Oliveira practice and then they would play there. That was that type of teams. Those teams are disappearing. Now you have, I feel like I call them the video game team. Once you finish practice, they go home and play Fortnite. They come back to the next day talking about what did you do on Fortnite? What did you do here? So things are changing. And you got to be able to adjust to that change. And I think that's one of the better things I have done with my longevity. I think that's what has kept me around, is because I've been able to adjust to the different type of kids. The kids are not the same they were 20 years ago. We have the indoor type of kids now. Back then we had your parents would run you out of the house, go to the park, go do something. Now you come home, you go straight, get on TV, get on video games playing Fortnite. I guarantee you my grandson's laying back behind me right now playing some kind of video game. It's just it's a different type of kid nowadays. You got to be able to adjust.
Yeah. Well, Coach, I think you've done a really good job of doing that, and you've yielded some really talented players. I know me personally, I selected a couple of those MVP type players. But I've talked to this at length with other football coaches and whatnot about the talent in Brownsville, and you've seen the talent in all sports transition. And you talk about basketball, not only you guys there, but down the street you have one of your biggest rivals in Pace. So San Luis Ramirez does a really good job there. They have really good teams with young guys, just like you have in the last couple of years. Just kind of speak to me about how the talent in Brownsville and how competitive it's gotten here in recent years.
I think it's been shown within the last 2 or 3 years with what Los Fresnos has done, with what Pace has done, with what we have done. I think that it showed that we can compete with the teams in Corpus Christi. We can compete with the teams in San Antonio. We can do that. Los Fresnos has shown that. We've shown that. Pace has shown that. The teams in Laredo, we've beaten them several times the last couple of years. And it's just hard for us to get over that last stump, because when you get to that third round, height comes into effect.
Yeah.
And everybody gonna say, oh, height don't matter. You don't have to carry them on your back. You just gotta beat them. But it makes a big difference when you get into the 6'7" and 6'8", because my kid's gonna play as hard as anybody kids. my kid, like, we lost in the playoffs this year to Corpus Christi Veterans, and we get beaten them earlier in the year, but their height just finally got to us in the playoffs. But I mean, I think height is a great thing that can equalize and make you better. But I try to preach to my kids that playing hard can make you can be just as well by playing hard.
Yeah, and I mean, it seems like you guys being in 5A, it seems like you're going to run into those Corpus teams a lot. I mean, in some of your longer runs, you've beaten tough teams like Corpus Christi King. The other year, you beat Flower Bluff. You play some of these teams very hard. It seems like there's been here in South Texas from like Corpus down, there's been a bit of a rivalry. Just how is that kind of able you guys to kind of get up for these games and
and I'm not a, well, can I say this word? I'm not a butt kisser or anything. But when Coach Leal took over as the AD of BISD, he made one statement I still remember. He said, if y'all ain't playing the Laredo schools, y'all aren't playing the Corpus Christi schools, y'all aren't playing the San Antonio school, y'all not trying to get any better. And that took me to heart because I hadn't been doing that. So, I mean, I started playing the San Antonio tour. I started playing the Corpus Christi, and I think I improved my team. I could sit down here and I think I could win 25, 30 games every year. But I don't think I was making my teams better for the playoffs. I think when I listened to what he said that time, my first question, y'all going to allow us to go to that? And then I remember him saying, yes, you can go. I want you to get better. So ever since that has happened, I think our quality, you watch Pace, you watch Rivetta did it, you watch me, I did it, you watch Los Fresnos, they did it, and I know they're not in our school district, but you know what I mean. And all of us have improved the last 4 or 5 years. And I think it has a lot to do with us going out of town, playing those San Antonio schools and those Corpus schools and those Houston schools. He even let me go to Houston one year. So I think it's made a big difference in what we have accomplished.
Yeah, for sure, Coach. And you kind of come here, and Veterans they have a really good history so far of athletic success, even though in the short time that the school's been open. But coming in here and taking that program and building it. I mean, how has that been as a reflection on the kids coming in and being able to do that your own way? How was that meant to you, and to have the success you guys have had?
I'm glad you asked that question. That's a great question because this is a 3-part question. Number one, you have to have the kids. And I'm not going to sit here and lie to you, tell you I haven't had good kids. I've had good kids. Number two, you have to have an administration that backs you. That's been one of my keys is my administration. I've had great AC. I've had great principals. They've backed me. And number three, and that's one you and I talked about earlier, you got to be willing to change. You can't come in there with a set. It's going to be this way. And then the last one is not one of those three, but the most important one, you got to have great assistant coaches.
Yeah.
You got to have great assistant coaches. That's one thing I've always had was great assistant coaches. You can't do this by yourself. If you want your whole program to succeed, you better have good freshman coaches. You better have good JV coaches. You better have good assistant coaches. If not, your program will not succeed. I guarantee you, if you don't have good coaches.
I'm glad you brought up good coaches because the last couple of years, your right-hand man, you Coach Schuester, what a very talented coach. I mean, he's done a lot for the program since he's come on board. Now he really takes charge during games. Helps you out there. Just what's he meant to you since he's come on board, Coach?
Like I told my principal, somebody said something to my principal one day that my assistant coaches do a lot of work, and they were being sarcastic. To me, it was one of my greatest compliments. Mm-hmm. It was one because your assistant, that means they are your assistant. They get a job. I come into every practice you can ask anybody who worked for me, I got a game plan right there. Okay, I said, Schuester, you got to take care of this today. Paz, you got to take care of this. Cuthberto, you take care of this. And I'm overseeing. I'm an overseer. That's my job. I'm the head coach. I got to make sure everything's right. It's just like a David Cantu in football. He has an offensive coordinator. He has the greatest defensive coordinator around in Dave Evans. But he's the head coach, and everybody understands that. So when somebody tell me that my coaches, assistant coaches are working, and they doing most of the work, I love that. That brings a smile on my face, because that's how if it took y'all this long to realize Gibson's always had great assistants, y'all slow. Gibson's not slow at all. I could not do this without the assistant I had. And you brought up some, and I'm gonna let you be the first one to know. Probably nobody knows it. Neil Schuster's not gonna be coaching with me anymore. He's gonna go straight football.
Okay.
You probably didn't know that, but I'm replacing him with two good coaches also.
Okay. Yeah, and and you also mentioned Coach Monty Basta, who's had success in his own right. He's come out and joined this past year, and it looked like he was an integral part of what you guys have done.
Yes, sir.
To get a man like that who's had his own coaching success on the girls' side of things come and join you guys. I mean, what is that, man?
Oh, it's tremendous. The guy won 6 by-district championships in a row. I mean, evidently he's doing something right. I don't care about all this other stuff. All I care is you come out here and do your job, and you coach for me, and you respect me and treat me nice. I'm on the down low. I'm good with it. No problem at all. But can I tell you who's coming on with me? Somebody else? Are you gonna be surprised, or do you already know?
I do not know, Coach. You've been kind of out of the loop. I mean, if you're allowed to, heck, well, we'd love to. Who's coming on?
Saul Villarreal.
Okay.
He's coming back. He's going to be a volunteer coach, and he's just going to coach basketball. That's all he's going to do. Oh, wow. So I mean, he will be coming into my staff, and I couldn't have done it. That just brings a big smile on my face there. A guy with his experience, the things he's done. Him and I started coaching varsity here in Brownsville together.
Okay.
We started the same year, and he retired for 1 year, and he missed it. He don't want to come back and teach anything like that. He just want to come back and coach. And my AC jumped on it and said, "Gibson, would you take him?" "Yes, sir." So he's not a full-time anything like that, but he gets to work 20 hours a week with my basketball program. So he's like, he's a great asset. So he'll be helping me now.
Wow, yeah, it's a big name here. So especially in the Brownsville area, Coach. So that's awesome for you guys. Thanks for sharing that with us, Coach. You talk about the Brownsville area, just how we discussed. Overall, it seems in the last 10 to 15 years, the Valley as a whole has just taken a step forward when it comes to basketball. So now more and more teams are getting those deep runs. You had a couple of teams make it a state. The Edinburgh Velas, the Santa Rosa is here. Just overall, like now the whole Valley, it seems like they're going to tournaments and Corpus and stuff, just like everybody else has. It seems like everybody's been trying to take that next step. Just how fun has it been to watch that? To have more competitive games. Even before the district season.
Well, for somebody like me, it's great to watch it, because I was here 20-something years ago when everything was played inside the Valley. I went to a tournament in Edinburgh, sometime they let us go to Roma, and then we play one here. But now, ever since things have changed and we've been able to see different places, take the kids outside the Valley. And I think it's more important for the kids, because a bunch of them had never been outside the Valley until we were allowed to take them on basketball trips. So I think that's a great importance. It means so much for these kids. It means for them to see different type of ball players, different type of game. And I think that's one of the reasons Brownsville basketball has gotten so much better. And I'm saying Brownsville, but I mean the Valley as a whole.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure, Coach. And it's been a treat. I know you enjoy some of these games. I've seen you get into them. Me personally, I seen you when things get really tight. Once you get up and the jacket comes off, it's like you're all business, Coach. Is there kind of a switch that goes on there? Just whenever it gets all intense.
Everybody asks me, when are you gonna retire? I'm gonna retire when I stop doing what you just said. When you see me just sit down there the whole time and I don't get intense, I don't get up and fight for my kids. Excuse me. That will be the year that I retire. And me and my wife, I think we made plans that she wants me to go. I want to go 2 more years. She probably wants me to go 1 more year, but I still love the game. I mean, it's just something I love. If I didn't love it, I wouldn't do it. I mean, I'm well past my retirement age. I could have retired 4 or 5 years ago, but I don't want to lay here in the house and just do nothing. I still like coaching. And that's a hard thing to quit something. Everybody say, well, you just, you don't want to be like some, the last thing you do is coach on a basketball game. If that's the way it ends, that's the way it ends. But, I've been through dialysis. I've been through kidney transplants. I've been through radiation, but I still love basketball. It's my love. So it's hard for me to give you a date on when I'm gonna retire because I really don't know. And when I guess maybe Dr. G might come in and say, Coach Gibson, I don't want you here no more. Or David Cantu might say we want to go a different route. Then okay, then I'll sit back and look at it. But if they feel I'm doing my job, if the superintendent and the city of Brownsville feel I'm doing a decent job, I'm gonna keep doing it until I can't do it no more.
Yeah, Coach. And like I said, you have been doing a great job. I know you had the health issues, but then you guys came back. It seems like you were, you're just as good or better than ever. You had those runs with those teams. Coming into this next year, what's the makeup like of your guys? I know you've had some young squads the last couple of years, and you put down a foundation for some building blocks, but you've still been able to win. Just going forward with the makeup of the team you have, what do you expect from them?
Well, here we go with that thing we talked about before. Good coaches on, I don't know if last year we won district championship on every level. So I got good freshmen coming up. I got good sophomores. I got good juniors. I got returning seniors. So, I mean, I know this is going to everybody say, let's see how you do without Damien. We won on every other level too. So now I guess maybe I might have to coach a little more. I might have to be a little more creative. But I believe we're going to win. I believe that with all my heart. With what we got coming back, I believe we can win. And if it don't happen, it's not going to be because I'm not giving my all. It's not happening because the kids I put out there on the floor are not giving their all. We're going to give our all, and we're going to, we've been to at least the second round with the last 4 years. I think I haven't checked, but at least 4. And I know we went the year before that with David and them. So, I mean, with who am I? I'm talking about Anaya, with Anaya and them. We won good. So we going to give everything we got.
Yeah. I mean, you people are gonna field those questions. Can you win without Damien? Well, I feel like in the 2017 team, or can you win without Aaron? Those kids. And I feel you guys answered the bell, even though you had that next year where it seems like you guys are kind of rebuilding, but you guys still made a good run for the playoffs in a very tough district. So I have no doubt that you guys are gonna come back and continue to have success. And like I said, the success is there. You made building blocks, have a good foundation. So can't wait to see what you guys have coming in store. But any words of wisdom for some of the kids out there right now that are eagerly waiting for any kind of sports to kind of come back? I know you have good relationships with your kids. Any words of wisdom you would like to share to some of them?
Well, one thing I want all my kids to know: all things happen for a reason. All things happen for a reason. Don't give up. Just put your hands in faith of God and believe in Him, and let's go with the flow. Things will work out. We will get better. I promise you. You will enjoy this sport again. You will enjoy sports again. But just hang in there, because all things are done for a reason, and we can make this work. We can make this work.
Awesome, Coach. Coach, it's always a pleasure. Whenever our paths cross, whether it be in your office, a playoff game, or a practice, it's always a pleasure. I want to thank you very much for coming on with us and giving us your time this afternoon.
Thank you for having me.
Everybody, just want to remind all our viewers of follow us on all the social medias. If you haven't already, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, go look us up, or you'll be able to see all our live streaming content, the recorded content we have. And we have 2 more episodes coming up for you guys. We have a signing at 3:00, and then we have another Sideline Sit Down. Mia Paz, a former Hannah girls basketball player, really solid player over there at our UTRGV. I'll be on with her at 5:00. So everybody stay tuned. Thank you for watching, Coach, again. Appreciate your time, and have a really great day.
Thank you for having me. You too.